This time on the Highland Woodworker.
It took over a year to build because of all the inlay that's on the drawers and on the sides.
Period furniture maker Bob Baker invites us into his Tennessee hideaway and shows us the incredible pieces he's created throughout his home. Plus, we'll get an important lesson in workshop organization.
And it all starts with a belt meant for a belt sander.
Fasten your sanding belts. Popular Woodworking Magazine has a strapping tip for smooth sanding. These stories and more this time on the Highland Woodworker. Hello, I'm Charles Brock and I'm a Highland Woodworker. I'm a Highland Woodworker because they always have the fine tools that I need for my projects. And they'll have the tools that you need too. If you're in town in Atlanta, Georgia, go to Highland Woodworking. I strongly suggest it. But if you can't go, on the web at highlandwoodworking.com, you'll find all the tools that you need and they will deliver them straight to your door. They've been doing that since 1978. Bob Baker is a member of the Society of American Period Furniture Makers, better known as SAFM. His pieces have us time traveling back to an era when decorative design was just as important as the furniture's form and function. Not only is Bob a master woodworker, he is a master organizer. Chances are you'll start rethinking the way you set up your workshop after you see him in our Moment with a Master. Bob Baker.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Dunlap.
This is wonderful. There's a view in every direction. And this valley here, I guess.
It's called the Sequatchie Valley. Ice created it millions of years ago. It reminds me, quite honestly, of the one up in Virginia, Shenandoah Valley.
Yeah, it's the rolling hills.
Yep.
Yeah, so a lot like that. Great place for life and woodworking.
And woodworkers like to hide, and this is perfect for it.
Well, show us where you've been hiding.
Come on.
Well, right off, I see the tall clock. That must be a Bob Baker.
It is. I wanted to do a clock, show my wife a bunch of pictures, and I wanted to do a Philadelphia Chippendale. She threw that one out first one, and she kind of liked this one. But there were several others she found that we ended up combining 3 clocks together.
What a delicate, beautiful piece. What is this piece called, Bob?
I'm not sure there's a real name for it. Well, I call it a Charleston tea stand. It's not a tea table. It's a copy, a modified copy of one that's in the Hayward, Washington house in Charleston. The main difference between the original and this one is the gallery. Well, we pierced it.
And this is the gallery.
Yes.
Yes.
A good friend had the opportunity to go down there and measure the original. And a friend lives over at the foot of the mountain, had a piece of old Cuban wood that he brought over here one day, and that's what that is made out of, is his old wood. And that's nothing but tongue oil, to be honest with you.
Your Seymour work table is just gorgeous. Again, it's a small piece with a lot of elements that come together.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
The original is in the Winterthur Museum up in Delaware. It took over a year to build because of all the inlay that's on the drawers and on the sides. You have tiny stringing, but then they curve on the ends and they belly out here, which is the exact reverse of what stringing wants to do. So
that's the orientation of the grain.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to bend it against the grain, so it had to be cut the opposite of what people would normally do and laid down the opposite.
One of the, this
Yeah,
shows
this is the work bag.
utility of it. You filled it up with, at the time, what kinds of things?
Back in the day, the girls would do needlepoint tapestries to impress beaux, and they would put it in that bag and lock it up at night to keep it safe. Okay, this is our kitchen table. I saw it in a store in Birmingham, Alabama, and laid underneath it and took pictures while my wife watched guard. Everybody tries to call it a juke table, but it's actually, the patent that this came under is called a Henry Green puzzle table. All of these pieces pull out, and you go from seating 5 or 6 people to 11, 12 people very quickly. Come on. And then these pieces slide back in. To expand the table out.
Oh, that's nice. Well, Bob, I understand that this drawing by Will Neptune is how you started this piece. It's a great drawing, but why all the circles?
Well, Will was commissioned to make a copy of this piece back in 2014, 15, somewhere in that time period. And he copied it from one at the Wadsworth and Theum in Hartford. While he was doing it, he got an idea that there was something special about the cabinet. And what he discovered over the next 2 years of fighting with this thing is that Chapin had designed it using the ionic order, which is what these are. There's ionic orders 1 to 9. You've got 9 circles for the height of it, and then the ratio of 4 to 5. So you got the base is 4 elements high and 5 elements wide. And from there you take and break it down. You've got another 9 elements here for the height. 3 of those elements make up the height of the pediment. It snowballs on itself, creating the proportions that created the cabinet.
So the ratios is where,
Exactly.
where he started.
Exactly.
And that's why we can look at something like this highboy, and it all seems to be in harmony. There's nothing that jumps out at us as it doesn't belong there.
Right. I've searched antiques for 20 or 30 years, and there's ones that you just stand in front of and you just know something's wrong, and then there's other ones that just take your breath away because they're right, like the Newport furniture. The proportions are proper. This one, the proportions are proper. It's the harmony on it just goes together.
Well, talking about the way things go together, Ronnie Young, who is a SAFA member and Cartouche Award winner,
Very good friend.
he told me that you were a master of organization. And he said to be sure to look at your kitchen and your workshop because you designed both of them using your experience with organization.
I built automotive plants for 30 years, and they do what's called lean manufacturing, where they search with their people. If they can save 2 minutes on building a car, they save millions of dollars.
Wow.
And they try to organize it so there's no wasted space, no wasted time, no wasted movement with the people putting the cars together. And yeah, I kind of became a child of that world. All right, this is my wife's kitchen.
It's your wife's kitchen,
Yes.
but somehow you decided you were going to organize it for her.
And that's when the fight started. She went to Chattanooga and talked to several custom kitchen cabinet people, and all of them told her it couldn't be done. And I knew it could be done. So what we did, while we were still framing the house, set cardboard boxes up in this area for each of these elements. And I had her pretend to cook. And we'd move the island this way, move it back, move it until it wasn't, because you've got a triangle from here to the stove to the refrigerator, and you didn't want that in the way.
Right.
because you'd be hitting it. And there's things like that that you had to work with. But the other part of it, to me, is everything is drawers. Because on normal kitchen cabinets, you've got that little shelf up in the back that's total wasted space, and everything on the bottom is just piled in. This is her stove. All of her cooking pots are right there,
Perfect.
right where she needs them to
Because they
cook.
go up here.
Her mixing spoons are right beside her where she can reach and grab whatever she wants. The spices she cooks with are right here. Everything should be right at hand.
With
Or
that
you-
in mind, Bob, I want to see how you took those ideas and applied them to your shop.
Come on, it's out back. All right, welcome to my shop.
Wow. Yeah. This is a wonderful space. You've got even pot-bellied stove and some rockers.
That's where all the mistakes goes in the pot-bellied stove.
You got
No
a
evidence.
wonderful outfeed table here, and I guess these are for clamping.
Yes,
Oh, great! Torsion box for it being flat, and a nice saw there. Router table. Kind of everything is together.
I wanted a way to store my chisels because carving chisels are not cheap by any means. And searched online, found this design that someone had posted. And all I did was take his design. I had a bunch of extra walnut that I used to clean it up, and then just kind of organized what he had done because he had already solved all the problems. I got all the chisels I need staring me in the face. So I'm a drawer freak, by the way.
I think I've noticed that, and I would like to be your hardware guy that sells you full-length extensions because you've got a lot of them.
There's a perfect example.
That's wonderful. So you could stand here, and with this open, you could do your layout
Yep.
for mortises, tenons, or whatever. Put it back. That is,
You need to start sawing dovetails. There's your saws.
yeah.
And after your layout's done, chisels, same way.
Mm-hmm.
Just miscellaneous tools. But
Yeah.
even these are the same. I mean, pinners,
Right. The
Or laid
things that you need here.
yeah. This is, this is the best tool in the shop.
Yeah.
So everything that I need to put together is there by the bench. So there's just basic screwdriver sets, basic wrench sets.
Well, Bob, the question comes up amongst woodworkers all the time. Are you a craftsman or an artist? Have you thought about that?
By my definition of artist, I am a craftsman. To me, an artist is like a friend of mine at the foot of the mountain. He can take a piece of wood. He can see a little man or an animal in that piece of wood. And he can carve that, or he can make that piece of wood into a table that no one's ever seen before. I can't do that. I copy, modify. My wife's found out she can hand me a picture of something she wants, and I can see it in my head in 3D. Move it around, turn it upside down, inside out, the joinery, the finish, everything. But I can't create like an artist can.
Well, you're an excellent craftsman by your definition. Thank you so much, Bob.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Whiteside Machine Company has been in business for over 30 years providing customers with quality router bits. Fine Woodworking Magazine has declared Whiteside router bits best overall and best value when compared against 17 other brands. No matter the router application, they have the type and profile of carbide router bit you need. When you put a white side router bit to work in your shop, it is guaranteed to make you smile.
Highland Woodworking stocks a wide selection of Rikon power tools, known for their innovative design and rugged durability. Highland has sold thousands of Rikon's industry-leading bandsaws with sizes to fit every woodworking need, from the compact, affordable 10-inch model to competitively priced 14 and 18-inch models. Shop us also for Rikon's reliable planers, lathes, and professional low-speed grinder, all with an exceptional 5-year warranty. Rikon Power Tools.
I'm just an average, down-to-earth woodworker. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably about a 5. But one place I score a perfect 10 is right here, and I plan on keeping all 10. That's why I have a SawStop table saw. And there's more. Plenty of power, superior dust collection, and absolute accuracy. These features have made it the best-selling cabinet saw in America. Let Highland Woodworking help you put a SawStop in your shop.
I'm cranking up my Big Daddy dust collector. When I have a class, the noise from the dust collector and the table saw together makes it almost impossible for them to hear me and for me to hear them. Quite a racket. I've got a solution for this, the Rikon 6105. Let me show you how it works. I've got the Rikon 6105 connected to my table saw, and let's turn it on. Now turn on the saw. My students can hear me and I can hear them, and they can learn those valuable skills at the table saw. That is the answer to a problem. Don't have the high-pitched whine, and it is so versatile. I'll show you what else it can do. Well, you have the option of hooking it up to a single machine, like a table saw or joiner or planer, and not having it drive you crazy with all that noise while you're doing your work. But you have other options too. You can attach a articulating arm, and you can attach a collector here, this hood, and you can target it at a router table or wherever you need to pick up dust. This is a fabulous tool. I like it so much, I have 2 of them.
Whenever you're hand sanding project parts, it's a good idea to back up the sandpaper with some sort of a block. It's going to result in a smoother surface and it'll look better once the finish is applied. The real trick, though, is how you hold the sandpaper to the sanding block. Yeah, sure, you can just grip it with your hands, but let's be honest, after a while that can get fatiguing, and the sandpaper has a tendency to slip around where it can tear. Well, Serge Duclos of Quebec came up with a better solution. And it all starts with a belt meant for a belt sander. Now, why use the belt? It has a cloth backing on it. That means that the sandpaper isn't going to tear, and that means that the sanding block will last a lot longer. Now, to attach it, I'm going to take this apart and show you how it works. You start with a hardwood block and then cut a cove on the back side of it. Then use some epoxy to anchor a cut-off bolt in a hole in the back. The sanding belt can then wrap around the edges of that cove. To hold it in place, you use a short piece of dowel with a hole drilled in it, and then secure the dowel in place by spinning on a knob. It's a nice way to upgrade your hand sanding blocks.
Meet the Bora Centipede, the lightweight and portable workshop table that supports up to 3,000 pounds, stores in a small space for tight shops, and opens into a work table to bring your work to a comfortable height. This makes the perfect companion for your track saw. Comes with X cups and hold downs to secure your work. Just add the Bora workbench top and you've got a great auxiliary table anywhere in your shop. Upgrade your shop today.
Ralph here from Wood Academy. Now, we all know Whiteside as a router bit brand and one of my favorites, but they're also now carrying a line of saw blades. I was working on a cutting board project and needed to rip down some hardwood. Walnut, cherry, and maple were no problem, and the cuts were consistently clean and smooth. This is a 10-inch, 30-tooth blade with a triple chip grind and a pretty aggressive 22-degree hook on the teeth. It provides smooth, clean cutting in solid stock, thick or thin.
There's 4 words that Lee Tools lives by. 4 words that mean quality joinery to take your projects to the next level. Whether it's dovetails, box joints, or mortise and tenon. And we'll even help you clean up. Those 4 words, better tools, better results.
If you can't make it to Highland Woodworking in Atlanta, Georgia, you can shop online at highlandwoodworking.com. They're great at getting what you want to your shop quick. Let Highland's legendary wood slicer resaw blade help make it easy for you to get great results sawing thick lumber into thinner boards. The wood slicer is designed to cut much faster, smoother, and quieter than ordinary bandsaw blades. You'll be amazed at how smooth a surface you'll get with a wood slicer. Its variable tooth pattern greatly reduces noise and vibration. Order a wood slicer from Highland Woodworking for your bandsaw today. Welcome to Chuck's Bench. I'm Chuck, and this is my shop workbench. I am very proud of my Joburg Elite 2000. Now, I'm 220 pounds. This is 350 pounds plus with the drawers and doors and all that sort of stuff, the cabinet that you can get as an accessory. It is a massive workbench. So what's the value of mass? Well, let me show you. All right, if I rock back and forth, there is no rocking of the bench. It doesn't matter which way I go, there is no racking of the bench. It is solid. Now, what's the value of a solid workbench? When you put your woodworking on it, you have a reference and you have stability that makes it possible for you to concentrate on the work at hand, planing, drilling, shaping, those kind of things, assembling that you do at a bench. It's the center of your shop. So let me show you a couple of things that I do at my bench, and we'll see how mass plays a huge part. You're going to like this. This piece is not flat on the bottom, but because of the mass, And because of the dogs that we mentioned in the last segment, you're able to have full control of it and concentrate on the work. So I don't have any racking around. Let me show you what happens when you hand plane. Nothing like hand planing to test whether the bench will rack and wobble going back and forth. I'm using my weight against the plane and shifting it. And in doing so, if I had a small bench that was not built with mass, you'd see it moving back and forth, just wobbling away. I wouldn't be able to control my cut like I can here. This makes it possible to do excellent work. And then when you do excellent work, you get great surfaces, and that makes the woodworker smile. Chuck's Bench is brought to you by Joburg. My Joburg bench is a place where I can store lots and lots of my tools in the accessory cabinet. We'll examine it next time on Chuck's Bench.
Improve your woodworking experience. Sign up for Wood News Online, a monthly newsletter showcasing the latest news, tips, and classes Highland Woodworking has to offer. By signing up, you'll receive the latest episode of the Highland Woodworker, special store promotions, and Wood News Online delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up today.
Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of the Highland Woodworker. Be sure to follow us on our social media channels. And until next time, I'm Charles Brock, and I'm a Highland Woodworker.